They say Christmas dinner is turkey, ham, and pumpkin pie. But during America's golden age, it was something else entirely. Picture this. It's December 1952. Your grandmother's dining room smells like roasted goose, not turkey. Lime Jello salad sits beside the ham. These weren't strange experiments. These were America's most elegant holiday traditions. Women's magazines featured these recipes. Department stores demonstrated them. Today, I'm taking you back. When Christmas cooking wasn't about convenience. It was about presentation, patience, making guests gasp. Stay with me. These 30 forgotten recipes tell America's real Christmas story. Number 1. Tomato aspic ring with shrimp. Margaret Whitmore's Christmas guests arrived in 2 hours. December 1947, Pasadena. Her centerpiece salad still trembled in its copper mold. She'd started the aspic ring yesterday morning. Would it hold its shape? Would those suspended shrimp stay perfect? Margaret heated tomato juice until steaming. She dissolved gelatin in cold water, stirred it into the hot juice with lemon, Worcestershire, salt, poured into her mold. 24 hours made magic. During post-war America, aspic defined elegance. Ladies' Home Journal called it the hostess's secret weapon. Suspended shrimp meant sophistication. Tomato juice becoming crystal jelly. Cold transforming liquid into architecture. That ring wobbling perfectly, revealing pink shrimp suspended in scarlet. Margaret's aspic traveled through her bridge club, her church circle, her neighborhood. Recipes scribbled on cards, shared over backyard fences. Every wobbling slice carried a message. Elegance takes time. Christmas dinner isn't rushed. It's crafted over days. Number 2. Deviled ham pinwheels. White sandwich bread. Underwood deviled ham. Cream cheese softened to room temperature. That's it. Roll each bread slice flat until paper thin. Spread cream cheese edge to edge. Layer deviled ham across the surface. Roll tightly like a jelly roll. Slice into half-inch pinwheels. Perfect spirals white, cream pink swirling together. Dorothy Parker served her first tray in December 1935, New York. 30 guests arriving. Depression-era budget stretched thin. These pinwheels looked expensive, cost pennies. December 1935, when elaborate entertaining met household economy. Hostesses needed appetizers that looked expensive, but cost like the Depression. These became the solution. Rolling thin created delicate texture. Cream cheese provided richness. Deviled ham delivered flavor from tiny portions edible art from pantry staples. Dorothy's pinwheels spread through junior league meetings, church potlucks, garden club teas. Depression appetizer becoming post-war cocktail party staple through the 1950s. Simplicity feeds elegance. 3 ingredients becoming something guests remember. Christmas entertaining rolling economy into sophistication. Would you try these Depression-era appetizers? Drop a comment if your grandmother made anything this resourceful. Number 3. Liver pâté Christmas tree. Before Instagram charcuterie boards. Crackers and cheese arranged casually. After 1950s party perfection, liver pâté molded into Christmas trees, decorated with pimiento stars. December 1956, Betty Harrison's company Christmas party in Cincinnati. 40 guests expected, her reputation at stake. Homemade spectacle meant success. She reached for chicken livers from the butcher, not ground beef, not cheese spread. Organ meat transformed into luxury. Betty sautéed chicken livers in butter until pink inside. She ground them twice until paste smooth. Added more butter, brandy, salt, pepper, nutmeg beat until fluffy. Spread into triangle shape, decorated with olives, pimiento, parsley. During the 1950s cocktail era, simple dips disappeared. Better homes and gardens devoted issues to molded appetizers. Smooth pâté, artistic shaping home cooking elevated. Plain pâté was delicious and sophisticated. Shaped pâté was conversation artistry. But shaped pâté took 3 times longer, required steady hands. Betty's Christmas tree pâté became her signature. Church meetings featured shaped pates, bells, wreaths, Santa faces. Suburbia transformed liver into edible sculpture. Every bite carried a message. Presentation matters more than convenience. Christmas entertaining shapes effort into art. Number 4. Celery stuffed with Roquefort cheese. Helen Crawford needed elegant finger food fast. December 1949, Chicago. 20 Bridge Club ladies arriving, her reputation on the line. She reached for celery stalks from her icebox. Simple, affordable, suddenly sophisticated with the right filling. Helen trimmed celery into 3-inch lengths, scrub it until squeaky clean, patted bone dry with tea towels. Creamed Roquefort cheese with softened butter until spreadable. Pressed mixture into each celery groove, filling generously. Sprinkled paprika across the top, red against white against pale green. During the late 1940s, celery represented sophistication. Celery vases sat on formal tables. This humble vegetable meant refinement, not rabbit food. Raw vegetable becoming elegant canape. Tangy cheese softening crisp crunch. Simple preparation, creating something guests remembered without cooking. Helen's stuffed celery spread through every women's club in Cook County. Garden clubs served it. Book clubs featured it. PTA meetings included it. Every bite carried a message. Elegance doesn't require cooking. Sophistication sometimes means knowing what not to heat. Number 5. Oyster cocktail in ice bowl. Before shrimp cocktail became standard, oyster cocktail reigned supreme. After war rationing ended, fresh oysters meant luxury had returned. Christmas 1946 tasted like celebration. December 1946, Robert Mitchell's New Year's Eve party in Baltimore. 50 guests expected, his first party since returning from Europe. Fresh oysters meant peace. He ordered fresh Chesapeake oysters from the wharf, not canned, not frozen. Live oysters still briny with seawater. Robert shucked 24 oysters, his knife working carefully around each shell. He nested a smaller glass bowl inside a larger one, filled the space with crushed ice, let it freeze overnight. Mixed cocktail sauce, ketchup, horseradish, lemon juice, Worcestershire, Tabasco. Arranged oysters around the rim like pearls. During immediate post-war years, oysters symbolized normalcy restored. Coastal cities celebrated with seafood towers. Fresh oysters meant shipping routes worked, economy hummed. Canned oysters were survival, wartime necessity. Fresh oysters were abundance, peacetime luxury. But fresh oysters cost 5 times more, required coastal access. Robert's oyster cocktail became his New Year's tradition. His law partners requested it annually. His children remember that ice bowl that never melted. Every raw oyster carried a message. Peace tastes like the sea. Celebration swallows victory whole. Number 6. Cheese ball rolled in pecans, cream cheese. Sharp cheddar, Worcestershire sauce. Chopped pecans covering every inch. That's your whole appetizer. Soften cream cheese and shred cheddar. Let both reach room temperature. Beat together until smooth. No orange streaks remain. Add Worcestershire, garlic powder, cayenne pepper, just enough heat. Form into a ball with hands. Roll entire ball in chopped pecans, pressing until no cheese shows through. Ruth Morrison made her first cheese ball for December 1954 Tupperware party in Kansas City. 15 neighbors attending, everyone bringing something. Her cheese ball lasted 3 minutes. December 1954, when Tupperware parties ruled suburban social life. Hostesses competed through recipes showcasing plastic containers. Cheese balls proved Tupperware's worth-needed refrigeration, airtight storage. Beating soft created spreadable texture. Cheddar provided sharp flavor. Pecans added crunch and visual appeal, Nobody served a naked cheese ball. Ruth's cheese ball recipes spread faster than Tupperware sales. Cookie exchanges featured them. Office parties required them. Every Christmas buffet included one by 1960. Simplicity becomes tradition. 4 ingredients becoming every party's centerpiece. Suburban entertaining rolling convenience into elegance. If you're still watching, you're tougher than most. Hit like if these vintage recipes hit different. Number 7. Lime Jello salad with cottage cheese. Before salad meant lettuce and vegetables, salad meant anything cold and molded. After Jello Company's marketing, dessert became side dish. The 1950s were confused. December 1955. Carol Jensen's Christmas dinner in Milwaukee. Her in-laws arriving, her mother-in-law's judgment sharp. Store-bought anything meant failure as a homemaker. She reached for lime Jello powder and cottage cheese. Not lettuce, not tomatoes. Gelatin as salad magazines promised this was sophisticated. Carol dissolved lime Jello in boiling water until every crystal disappeared. Let it cool to room temperature, thick as syrup. Folded in cottage cheese, white curd suspended in green like clouds. Added crushed pineapple, juice making everything looser. Poured into copper mold, refrigerated 24 hours until solid. During the 1950s, Jello salads dominated holiday tables. Better Homes and Gardens published features on molded salads. What seemed bizarre was marketed as modern homemaking. Space age on your table? Traditional salads were crisp vegetables, simple dressing. Jello salads were wobbly, artificially colored, sweet when you expected savory. But Jello salads photographed beautifully proved you owned matching molds. Carol's lime Jello salad became expected at every gathering. Her sister-in-law made orange with carrots. Her neighbor made strawberry with bananas. Competitive molding swept suburban Milwaukee. Every quivering slice carried a message. Modern homemaking means trusting corporations over grandmothers. Progress wobbles on your plate. Number 8. Waldorf salad with mayonnaise. Apples, celery, walnuts. Mayonnaise binding everything into sweetness that shouldn't work but does. Christmas 1938 made this mandatory. Dice apples into half-inch cubes, leaving red skin on. Chop celery fine as confetti. Toast walnuts in dry skillet until fragrant. Fold everything with mayonnaise, enough to coat but not drown. The salad turns creamy white, dotted with red and green. Grace Palmer served Waldorf salad every Christmas from December 1938 until December 1972. Her Philadelphia dining room. 3 generations gathering. This salad meaning continuity through depression, war, prosperity, protest. December 1938, when the Waldorf Astoria Hotel's signature salad became America's standard. Home cooks recreated restaurant elegance. Waldorf salad appeared in every women's magazine through 4 decades. Mayonnaise created creamy richness without cooking. Apples provided sweetness and crunch. Celery added savory contrast that kept it from being dessert barely. Grace's Waldorf salad traveled through her church circle, her garden club, her daughter's school functions. Simple formula becoming sacred tradition. Her granddaughter still makes it, though now with Greek yogurt. Every creamy bite carried a message. Tradition sustains through simplicity. Recipes connect generations across decades. Would you eat lime Jello with cottage cheese? Or has your family disowned you for suggesting it? Comment below. Number 9. Cranberry ribbon salad. 3 layers of Jello, 3 different colors, 3 separate days of work. Red cranberry on bottom, white cream cheese middle, green lime top, Christmas striped like a flag. Start with red layer first. Dissolve cranberry Jello in boiling water. Stir in whole cranberry sauce. Pour into 9 by 13 pan. Refrigerate overnight until firm. For white layer, dissolve lemon Jello. Beat in cream cheese and mayonnaise until smooth. Pour over red layer, refrigerate overnight. Green layer uses lime Jello, pour over white. 3 days total. Martha Richardson made her first ribbon salad for December 1958 church potluck in Jackson, Mississippi. Baptist ladies watching, her reputation riding on whether those layers stayed separated or bled together. December 1958, when layered Jello salads proved patience and planning. 1-layer Jello was amateur. 3-layer Jello was commitment, skill, understanding gelatin chemistry. Each layer needed complete setting before the next. Patience created clean stripes. Rushing created blurred edges. Visual failure that tasted fine but looked sloppy. Martha's ribbon salad became legendary in her congregation. Other women attempted it, failed, gave up. She made it look effortless, though she started 3 days before. Every striped square carried a message. Beauty requires patience measured in days. Elegance means starting before you think you need to. Number 10. Grapefruit and avocado with poppy seed dressing. Before avocados were everyday food, they were exotic luxury from California. After Hollywood glamour reached Middle America, avocado salad meant sophistication beyond your zip code. The 1960s tasted like aspiration. December 1962, Linda Foster's first Christmas as a married woman in Seattle. Her husband's boss and wife coming to dinner, her proving she deserved that corporate wife role. Avocados cost almost $1 each, half a day's grocery budget. She bought 2 perfect avocados from the specialty grocer. Not lettuce, not cabbage. Green fruit that cost like jewelry. Linda halved grapefruits, cut between every membrane until each section lifted out clean. Sliced avocados into crescents, the flesh green as spring grass. On her best china, she arranged grapefruit and avocado alternating like sun rays. Her poppy seed dressing took 20 minutes of whisking sugar, vinegar, mustard, onion juice, oil added drop by drop. Drizzled it artistically across the fruit. During the early 1960s, avocados symbolized California dreaming. Sunset magazine featured them monthly. Grocery stores displayed them like fine wine. What seemed ordinary on the West Coast was exotic luxury everywhere else. Traditional salads were iceberg lettuce, maybe tomatoes. Avocado salad was tropical, expensive, proof you understood continental cuisine. But avocados cost 5 times more than lettuce, required perfect ripeness. Linda's avocado salad became her signature first course. Her husband's colleagues requested it. Her neighbors whispered about her fancy California salads. She felt sophisticated every time. Every bite carried a message. Geography shapes aspiration. Luxury means fruit that costs like meat. Number 11. Crown roast of pork with apples. 2 pork loins bent into a circle, rib bones standing up like a crown, the center hollow waiting. This was the centerpiece that made guests photograph dinner. Order your crown roast from the butcher weeks ahead. 16 to 18 ribs formed into perfect circle. Salt and pepper generously. Roast at 350 degrees. While it roasts, prepare apples peel, core, slice, toss with brown sugar, cinnamon, butter. After an hour, fill the center cavity with apples. Roast another hour until pork reaches 145 degrees. The smell fills your entire house. Barbara Mitchell served her first crown roast for Christmas 1951 in Denver. Her husband finally making partner at his law firm. This dinner announcing they'd arrived in society. That roast cost nearly a week's grocery budget. December 1951, when crown roasts meant you'd made it. Magazine advertisements showed them on mahogany tables. Department store demonstrations featured them. This wasn't dinner, this was theater. Achievement. Bending the loins created architectural drama. Rib bones served as natural decoration. Apples filled the center with color and sweetness that complemented pork's richness. Barbara's crown roast became her Christmas signature for 23 years. Her children remember that centerpiece. how their father carved it ceremoniously, how company gasped when she carried it in. Every slice carried a message. Achievement looks like architecture on a platter. Christmas dinner should make people stop talking. Number 12. Baked ham with pineapple and maraschino cherries. A whole ham studded with cloves, covered in pineapple rings, each ring centered with a bright red maraschino cherry. This was the 1950s in edible form. Score the ham's fat in diamond pattern. Stud each intersection with a whole clove. You'll use 50 or more. Mix brown sugar with pineapple juice. Spread this glaze thick. Arrange pineapple rings across the top like yellow coins, securing with toothpicks. Press a maraschino cherry into each ring center. Bake at 325 degrees, basting every 20 minutes until the surface turns mahogany and sticky. Evelyn Walsh served this ham every Christmas from December 1953 until December 1968. Her Pittsburgh dining room, her husband's steel mill colleagues and their wives, this ham meaning American prosperity made visible. Pineapple from Hawaii, ham from Iowa, cherries dyed bright as Christmas lights. December 1953, when decorated hams dominated holiday advertising. Dole Pineapple Company published recipes monthly. Food styling meant symmetry, brightness, making dinner look like magazine covers, artificial beauty, trumping authentic taste. Traditional ham was just ham, maybe with natural glaze. Decorated ham was performance art, every surface covered, every inch sweetened and brightened. But all that fruit masked the meat, turned savory into dessert sweet. Evelyn's pineapple ham appeared in her church cookbook, her Bridge Club newsletter, her daughter's school fundraiser cookbook. That image-perfect circles, perfect red centers defined Christmas for a generation. Every slice carried a message. Presentation outweighs flavor. Modern homemaking means making food look like advertisements. Would you carve into a crown roast or just stare at it? Let me know if Baroque meat appeals to you. Number 13. Roast goose with prune and apple stuffing. Before turkey became America's standard, goose ruled Christmas tables. After World War II changed farming, turkey got cheaper, goose nearly disappeared. The 1940s tasted like transition. December 1944, Thomas O'Brien's family gathered despite rationing in Boston. His son's home on leave. His wife determined Christmas would feel normal. Goose wasn't rationed beef impossible, but geese still waddled through local farms. He brought home a 12-pound goose from the German butcher. Not turkey. Dark meat throughout, rich fat rendering from months of cooking. Thomas pricked the goose skin all over, releasing fat that would drain during roasting. His wife stuffed the cavity with bread cubes, chopped prunes, diced apples, onions, sage fruit sweetening the gamey meat. She trussed it tight, roasted at 350 degrees. Every 30 minutes, she spooned rendered fat from the pan-liquid gold saved for frying potatoes all winter. 4 hours later, the skin turned mahogany crisp. During the 1940s, goose represented Old World Christmas. Dickens wrote about it. European immigrants remembered it. Goose meant tradition when everything else was changing, rationed. Turkey was mild, predictable, increasingly affordable as factory farming expanded. Goose was intense, fatty, expensive as farms shifted to turkeys. But goose tasted like history, like Christmas before commercialization. Thomas's goose became family legend. His grandchildren still talk about it, though none have cooked goose themselves. The fat jars, the prune stuffing, that crispy skin memories preserved in stories. Every bite carried a message. Tradition costs more than convenience. Christmas sometimes tastes like what's almost extinct. Number 14. Beef Wellington. Beef tenderloin wrapped in pâté, wrapped in puff pastry, baked until the pastry turns golden and the beef stays pink. This was 1960s dinner party, showing off at its absolute peak. Buy center-cut beef tenderloin, 2 pounds minimum. Season aggressively. Sear hard in screaming hot oil until every surface browns. Let cool completely. Spread with liver pâté or mushroom duxelles. Roll out puff pastry thin as paper. Wrap the beef like a Christmas present. Brush with egg wash. Add decorative pastry shapes. More egg wash. Bake at 425 degrees until pastry puffs and browns. Internal temperature 125 for rare. Rest 10 minutes before slicing. Patricia Caldwell served beef Wellington for her December 1965 dinner party in Scarsdale. Her husband's most important clients attending, her proving she belonged in Westchester society. She practiced that recipe 4 times before the actual dinner. December 1965, when beef Wellington defined sophisticated entertaining. Julia Child demonstrated it on television. The Kennedys served it at White House dinners. Making this meant you understood French technique, owned good knives, weren't intimidated by pastry. Traditional pot roast was affordable, forgiving, fed large families easily. Beef Wellington was expensive, technical, served small groups dramatically. But one mistake overcooked beef, soggy pastry ruined hours of work and $50 of ingredients. Patricia's beef Wellington became her reputation. Her dinner invitations became coveted. Her friends attempted it, mostly failed, gave up, and ordered it from restaurants. She made it look effortless. Every slice carried a message. Elegance requires multiple techniques mastered. Dinner party success means risking expensive failure. Number 15. Creamed pearl onions in white sauce. Tiny white onions swimming in thick creamed sauce. This side dish required more patience than the main course, but somehow became mandatory at formal dinners. Peel pearl onions by blanching in boiling water 30 seconds. Plunge into ice water, skins slip off, but you'll still cry peeling 60 tiny onions. Simmer in chicken broth until tender, about 20 minutes. Make bechamel sauce, melt butter, whisk in flour. Slowly add hot milk while whisking until thick as gravy. Season with salt, white pepper, nutmeg. Fold cooked onions into sauce. Dorothy Henderson made creamed pearl onions every Christmas from December 1957 until December 1981. Her Cleveland dining room, her extended family expecting exactly this. This bowl meaning Christmas even though everyone secretly hated peeling those onions. December 1957, when cream sauce elevated everything. Culinary school trained cooks in French technique. Bechamel became standard sauce. Every home cook needed white sauce, meant sophistication, meant you understood ratios and whisking. Plain boiled onions were peasant food, strong tasting, visually boring. Creamed onions were refined, mellowed by dairy, dressed in white like formal dinners required. But pearl onions cost 3 times more, and peeling them made you weep. Dorothy's creamed onions traveled through her church cookbook, her bridge club recipe exchanges, her daughter's junior league meetings. Every woman agreed they were tedious. Every woman served them anyway. Every creamy onion carried a message. Tradition survives even when nobody particularly enjoys it. Christmas side dishes exist because grandmother said so. Number 16. Sweet potato casserole with marshmallows. Sweet potatoes whipped smooth, brown sugar stirred in, topped with a blanket of marshmallows that melt and brown. This dish confuses the line between side dish and dessert. Bake sweet potatoes until soft. Scoop the orange flesh into a mixing bowl. Add butter, brown sugar, cinnamon, vanilla extract, mash until smooth as frosting. Spread into a buttered casserole dish. Cover entire surface with marshmallows, mini marshmallows, for even coverage, or large ones placed close together. Bake at 350 degrees until marshmallows turn golden brown on top, bubbling at edges. Sarah Martinez brought this casserole to her first American Christmas in December 1968, San Antonio. Her husband's family gathering, her proving she could cook American food even though she'd arrived from Mexico just 2 years earlier. That casserole became her bridge between cultures. December 1968, when sweet potato casserole represented American excess and creativity. Other cultures baked sweet potatoes simply. America turned them into candy, topped them with more candy, called it a vegetable side dish. Traditional sweet potatoes were just roasted, maybe with butter. Casserole version was whipped, sweetened, marshmallow crowned. But all that sugar overwhelmed the vegetable's natural flavor, turned dinner into dessert served before dessert. Sarah's casserole became mandatory at every family gathering. Her children requested it. Her grandchildren now make it, though they wonder why marshmallows belong with vegetables. She never told them it confused her too. Every marshmallow-topped bite carried a message. American food makes no apologies for sweetness. Love means cooking what your family expects, even when it makes no sense. Number 17. Green bean casserole with French fried onions. Canned green beans, condensed cream of mushroom soup, canned fried onions. This casserole, made entirely from shelf-stable ingredients, somehow became America's most popular holiday side dish. Open 2 cans of green beans. Drain them. Open 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. Use it straight, thick as paste. Mix beans and soup in casserole dish. Add soy sauce and black pepper. Bake at 350 degrees for 25 minutes until bubbling. Remove, scatter French fried onions across the top. Return for 5 more minutes until onions crisp up. Janet Campbell served this casserole for her first Christmas hosting in December 1960, Detroit. Her new husband's entire family arriving, her learning that homemade could mean assembling cans if you did it confidently. Nobody knew. Nobody cared. Everyone asked for seconds. December 1960, when Campbell's Soup Company invented this recipe for advertising. They printed it on the back of soup cans. It spread faster than any grandmother's recipe because it required 0 cooking skill, 0 fresh ingredients, 0 chance of failure. Traditional green beans were fresh, steamed, dressed with butter. Casserole version was canned, heavily processed, assembled instead of cooked. But fresh green beans required gardens or expensive purchases, and casserole stayed perfect in a warm oven. Janet's green bean casserole appeared at every family holiday for 53 years. Her children inherited the recipe 3 ingredients written on an index card. Her grandchildren make it from the Campbell's website, not realizing Grandma's secret recipe is printed on a can. Every creamy bite carried a message. Shortcuts become tradition if repeated enough. Christmas side dishes succeed through reliability, not authenticity. If these recipes feel like a fever dream, you're not alone. Drop a comment if your grandmother actually served this stuff. Number 18. Scalloped oysters. Fresh oysters layered with buttered cracker crumbs. Cream poured over, baked until bubbling. This dish meant coastal luxury, even when served 1,000 miles from the ocean. Butter saltine crackers generously. Crush them coarse. Layer the bottom of a buttered baking dish with cracker crumbs. Arrange fresh shucked oysters across the crumbs, their liquid pooling around them. Season with salt, pepper, cayenne. Add another layer of crumbs, another layer of oysters, finishing with crumbs. Pour heavy cream over everything, just enough to moisten. Dot with butter. Bake at 375 degrees until the top browns and edges bubble. William Thornton served scalloped oysters every Christmas, Eve from December 1923 until December 1959. His Charleston dining room. His family's tradition, imported from his Virginia grandmother, those oysters meaning Christmas as much as church services. Fresh Chesapeake oysters arriving by train, packed in ice. December 1923, when scalloped oysters represented old Southern Christmas. Recipe appeared in Charleston cookbooks from 1847. This wasn't trendy. This was heritage, connection to ancestors who celebrated the same way. Fresh oysters were expensive, seasonal, required coastal access or expensive shipping. Canned oysters existed, but were mushy, metallic, unacceptable for holidays. But fresh oysters meant planning ahead, paying premium prices, hoping they arrived still alive. William's scalloped oysters became family legend. His children remembered that dish when they remembered Christmas. His grandson still makes it, ordering overnight shipped oysters from North Carolina, keeping alive something that almost disappeared. Every creamy oyster carried a message. Regional traditions define identity. Christmas connects us to people who died before we were born. Number 19. Cloverleaf dinner rolls shaped by hand. 3 balls of dough nestled together in each muffin cup, rising into rolls shaped like 3-leaf clovers. This was bread making as craft, as art, as proof you understood yeast. Make basic dinner roll dough flour, yeast, milk, butter, sugar, salt, kneaded until smooth. Let it rise until doubled. Punch it down. Pinch off walnut-sized pieces. Roll each into a perfect sphere between your palms. Place 3 spheres into each buttered muffin cup, nestled close like triplets. Let them rise again until puffy. Brush with melted butter. Bake at 375 degrees until golden brown. Rose Kowalski made cloverleaf rolls every Christmas from December 1941 until December 1976. Her buffalo kitchen, her hands shaping hundreds of tiny dough balls. Her children and grandchildren gathering around her table, those rolls meaning home more than any other food. December 1941, when homemade bread meant more than convenience. Betty Crocker radio programs taught bread-shaping techniques. Home economists demonstrated cloverleaf rolls at county fairs. Shaping proved skill, patience, understanding that food could be beautiful. Plain dinner rolls were efficient, simple, 1 piece of dough per roll. Cloverleaf rolls were labor-intensive, requiring consistent sizing, artistic arrangement, extra time. But cloverleaf rolls looked special, pulled apart dramatically, showed craftsmanship every time someone ate one. Rose's cloverleaf rolls became legendary in her Polish neighborhood. Women asked for her secret. She'd smile, say, practice, knowing the secret was simply caring enough to make 3 balls instead of 1, multiplied by 60 rolls per Christmas dinner. Every buttery roll carried a message. Love shapes itself into small repeated gestures. Christmas tastes like what grandmother touched. Number 20. Date nut bread with cream cheese. Dark, sweet, dense bread studded with dates and walnuts. Sliced thin and spread with cream cheese. This was the 1950s answer to fruitcake that people actually ate. Chop dates into small pieces. Pour boiling water over them. Mix flour, baking soda, salt. Cream butter and brown sugar. Beat an egg. Add vanilla. Stir dry ingredients into wet. Add soaked dates with liquid. Fold in walnuts. Batter turns thick and dark brown. Pour into greased loaf pan. Bake at 350 degrees nearly an hour. Let cool. Completely warm date bread crumbles when sliced. Cut thin slices. Spread with softened cream cheese. Eleanor Price baked date nut bread every December starting in 1952, Nashville. Her husband's business clients arriving for Christmas open house. These loaves sliced and arranged on silver platters. Cream cheese softened in her grandmother's crystal bowl. She'd bake 8 loaves, wrap them in waxed paper, knowing they improved with age. December 1952, when quick breads replaced yeast breads for entertaining. Easier, faster, more forgiving than rolls. Date nut bread appeared in every junior league cookbook, every church fundraiser collection, every bridge club recipe exchange. Traditional fruitcake was dense, boozy, studded with candied fruit that glowed unnaturally. Date bread was dense, subtly sweet, studded with natural dried fruit that tasted like caramel. But dates cost more than candied fruit, and walnuts weren't cheap either. Eleanor's date bread became her calling card. Friends requested it by name. She'd arrive at parties carrying loaves wrapped in tea towels, still slightly warm, knowing they'd disappear within minutes. Her recipe card is stained, water-spotted, beloved used by 3 generations now. Every cream cheese spread slice carried a message. Some traditions improve by waiting. Christmas baking connects decades through repeated recipes that never change. They say Christmas dinner is turkey, ham, and pumpkin pie. But during America's golden age, it was something else entirely. Picture this. It's December 1952. Your grandmother's dining room smells like roasted goose, not turkey. Lime Jello salad sits beside the ham. These weren't strange experiments. These were America's most elegant holiday traditions. Women's magazines featured these recipes. Department stores demonstrated them. Today, I'm taking you back. When Christmas cooking wasn't about convenience, it was about presentation, patience, making guests gasp. Stay with me. These 30 forgotten recipes tell America's real Christmas story. Number 21. Mincemeat pie with brandy. Dark, mysterious filling made from beef suet, dried fruits, spices, and brandy. Baked in flaky pastry, this pie confused everyone who'd never tasted it and delighted everyone who grew up with it. Make or buy mincemeat filling, the traditional kind with actual beef suet. Raisins, currants, chopped apples, citrus peel, brown sugar, spices, brandy. Roll out pastry for double crust pie. Fill with mincemeat, spreading evenly. Cover with top crust, cut vents, crimp edges. Brush with cream, sprinkle with coarse sugar. Bake at 425 degrees 15 minutes, reduce to 350. Bake 40 minutes more until crust turns golden and juice bubbles thick as motor oil. Arthur Bennett served mincemeat pie every Christmas from December 1928 until December 1965. His Boston dining room. His English grandmother's recipe brought from Yorkshire. That pie meaning connection to ancestors he'd never met, but whose recipe lived in his hands. December 1928, when mincemeat meant genuine meat and suet. Medieval preservation technique surviving into modern times. Fruit and meat combined, alcohol preserving everything, spices masking flavors that might have turned. Modern mincemeat is vegetarian, apologetic, stripped of suet, and sometimes even brandy. Traditional mincemeat was unapologetic beef fat, strong spirits, flavors that punched you in the face. But beef suet became hard to find, and younger generations couldn't imagine meat in dessert. Arthur's mincemeat pie divided his family. His children loved it. His grandchildren refused it. His great-grandchildren were curious again. Food trends cycle. What seems disgusting becomes heritage, becomes trendy, becomes normal again. Every boozy bite carried a message. Tradition doesn't have to make sense to modern tastes. Christmas sometimes tastes like your ancestors' memories, not your own preferences. Would you eat a pie made with beef fat? Or has American dessert moved too far from medieval England? Let me know. Number 22. Bûche de Noël, Yule log cake. A chocolate sponge cake rolled with cream filling, frosted to look like tree bark, decorated with meringue mushrooms. This French cake became America's showpiece Christmas dessert. Bake thin chocolate sponge cake in jelly roll pan. While still warm, roll it up in a tea towel to set the shape. Unroll when cool, spread with whipped cream or buttercream. Re-roll carefully without the towel. Cover entire log with chocolate buttercream. Drag fork tines through frosting to create bark texture. Dust with powdered sugar for snow. Add meringue mushrooms if you're ambitious. Marie Dubois made her first bûche de Noël for December 1959 dinner party in New Orleans. French Quarter neighbors arriving, her proving her Parisian childhood training translated to American kitchens. That log took 6 hours, not counting the meringue mushrooms. December 1959, when French cooking became American aspiration. Jackie Kennedy hired a French chef. Julia Child's cookbook was coming. Bûche de Noël meant you understood technique, patience, that food could be art. Plain chocolate cake was everyday, simple, unimpressive for holidays. Yule log was architectural, requiring multiple components, precision timing. But one crack in the roll ruined everything. Visible failure after hours of work. Marie's butch became her Christmas signature. Neighbors requested lessons. She'd demonstrate the rolling technique, watching women's cakes crack anyway, understanding that some skills require years of muscle memory. Every bark-textured slice carried a message. Some traditions require training beyond recipe cards. Beauty demands risking visible failure. Number 23. Plum pudding with hard sauce. Dark, dense pudding steamed for hours, soaked in brandy, set aflame at the table. Served with hard sauce. This was Christmas theater more than dessert. Mix dried fruits, breadcrumbs, suet, brown sugar, spices, eggs, brandy into thick batter. Pack into buttered pudding mold. Cover with parchment and foil. Tie with string. Steam in pot of simmering water for 6 hours. Yes, 6 hours, adding water as it evaporates. The pudding turns dark as mahogany, dense as fruitcake. Age it weeks if possible, feeding it brandy weekly. Serve by warming, dousing with more brandy, lighting it aflame. Pass hard sauce butter and powdered sugar beaten until fluffy, flavored with brandy. George Pemberton served flaming plum pudding every Christmas from December 1935 until December 1968. His London childhood transplanted to Philadelphia. His pudding meaning connection to empire, tradition. Christmases that smelled like his mother's kitchen across the Atlantic. December 1935, when plum pudding represented British Christmas heritage. Dickens described it. Victorian paintings immortalized it. Making plum pudding meant understanding that some recipes require commitment measured in months, not hours. Modern desserts were quick, light, instant gratification. Plum pudding was slow, heavy, delayed satisfaction, requiring planning weeks ahead. But steaming for 6 hours heated the entire house, and aging required storage space most kitchens didn't have. George's plum pudding became legendary among his colleagues. Americans found it too dense, too boozy, too much work. His British friends found it comforting, authentic, worth every hour of steaming. Every flaming bite carried a message. Heritage survives through recipes that refuse to modernize. Some traditions demand you start before Thanksgiving. Number 24. Divinity candy. Fluffy white candy made from egg whites and corn syrup, beaten until it holds peaks like meringue, studded with pecans. This candy required perfect weather and perfect timing. Boil sugar, corn syrup, water to 260 degrees hardball stage on candy thermometer. While it boils, beat egg whites until stiff peaks form. Pour hot syrup in thin stream into egg whites while beating constantly. This takes 2 people or strong arms and coordination. Beat until mixture holds shape and loses its gloss, about 5 minutes. Fold in chopped pecans, vanilla. Drop by spoonfuls onto waxed paper. Let dry until firm, several hours. Catherine Moore made Divinity every December starting in 1947 Atlanta. Her mother's recipe, her grandmother's recipe before that, this candy meaning Christmas more than cookies or cakes. She only made it on dry, cool days. Humidity meant failure. Sticky candy that never set. December 1947, when candy making was chemistry requiring precision. Candy thermometers, weather watching, understanding sugar stages. Divinity proved you mastered technique that couldn't be faked or rushed. Modern candy was chocolate-based, forgiving, store-bought, acceptable. Divinity was temperamental, unforgiving, homemade, or not at all. But humidity ruined it, wrong temperature ruined it, timing errors ruined it, hours of work becoming garbage. Catherine's Divinity traveled through her church's Christmas bazaar, her garden club cookie exchanges, her daughter's school fundraisers. Other women attempted it, mostly failed, gave up and bought chocolate instead. Every cloud-white piece carried a message. Some traditions demand perfect conditions. Mastery means knowing when not to try. Number 25. Ribbon gelatin dessert. Alternating layers of different colored Jello, each layer completely set before the next, red, white, green, creating striped Christmas dessert that took 3 days. Make first layer using cherry or strawberry Jello. Dissolve in boiling water. Pour into 9 by 13 pan. Refrigerate until completely firm, at least 4 hours or overnight. Make second layer using lemon Jello with cream cheese beaten in until smooth and white. Pour carefully over first layer. Refrigerate until firm. Make third layer using lime Jello. Pour over second layer. Refrigerate overnight. Cut into squares. Serve on lettuce leaves. Frances Goldman made ribbon gelatin for December 1961 Hanukkah party, Chicago. Her family celebrating both holidays. Her creating something that looked Christmas but used Jewish dietary laws. Those layers meant belonging to both worlds without fully fitting either. December 1961, when layered gelatin desserts proved dedication. 1 layer was easy. 3 layers required planning 3 days ahead, understanding gelatin chemistry, patience most home cooks lacked. Plain Jello was instant, one-step child's play. Ribbon gelatin was adult achievement, requiring refrigerator space for days, careful timing, steady hands when pouring. But the payoff was purely visual. It tasted like regular Jello, just prettier. Frances's ribbon gelatin became her signature potluck dish. Temple functions requested it. Her children's school parties featured it. She made it look effortless, never mentioning the 3-day commitment. Every striped square carried a message. Beauty requires invisible labor. Belonging means creating your own traditions. Number 26. Fruitcake soaked in rum. Dense cake packed with candied fruits and nuts, baked dark, wrapped in rum-soaked cheesecloth. Aged for months, this was the fruitcake, before fruitcake became a punchline. Cream butter and brown sugar, beat in eggs one at a time. Fold in flour, spices, candied fruits, nuts the batter barely holds together, more fruit than cake. Pack into greased loaf pans lined with parchment. Bake at 275 degrees for nearly 3 hours until deeply brown and firm. While still warm, pierce all over with skewer. Pour rum over the surface. Let it soak in. Wrap in cheesecloth soaked in more rum. Wrap in foil. Store in cool place, unwrapping weekly to brush with more rum. Age minimum 4 weeks, better 6 months. Harold Simpson made fruitcakes starting every August from 1952 until 1989. His basement workshop, rows of rum-soaked cakes wrapped in foil, his Christmas gifts requiring 6 months of patient tending. Each cake received 12 rum brushings before December arrived. August 1952, when fruitcake meant commitment measured in months. Victorian tradition surviving into modern times. Good fruitcake couldn't be rushed, couldn't be made in December, required understanding that some gifts need half a year of preparation. Modern fruitcake was dry, chemical tasting, candied fruit, glowing radioactive colors, gift of last resort. Traditional fruitcake was moist, boozy, real fruit and nuts held together with just enough cake, gift of devoted labor. But aging 6 months required storage space and planning that contradicted modern life. Harold's fruitcakes became legendary. Friends requested them by name. He'd hand them over in December, never mentioning he'd started before Labor Day, never expecting anyone to replicate the effort. Every rum-soaked slice carried a message. Love measures itself in months of patient tending. Some gifts can't be rushed. Number 27. Tom and Jerry batter. Pre-made batter of beaten eggs, sugar, and spices, kept in the icebox, ready to transform into hot cocktails by adding rum and hot water. This was the 1940s version of instant holiday drinks. Separate dozen eggs. Beat yolks with powdered sugar until thick and pale. Beat whites until stiff peaks form. Fold whites into yolks gently. Add dark rum, brandy, vanilla extract, nutmeg, cinnamon. The batter turns creamy yellow, thick as pudding. Store in covered container in refrigerator for weeks. To serve, place spoonful of batter in mug. Add more rum and brandy. Fill with hot water. Stir. Dust with nutmeg. Robert Williams mixed his first Tom and Jerry batter in December 1943, Milwaukee. His tavern welcoming soldiers home on leave. This drink warming frozen men who'd been overseas. That batter meaning Christmas smelled like nutmeg and tasted like homecoming. December 1943, when Tom and Jerry was Christmas in a mug. Bars made huge batches. Families kept crocks of batter ready. This drink appeared in movies, songs, magazines defining holiday drinking before eggnog dominated. Plain hot toddies were simple, one drink at a time. Tom and Jerry batter meant preparation ahead, serving crowds quickly, transforming hot water into celebration. But raw eggs worried modern food safety, and the drink required actual effort before serving. Robert's Tom and Jerry batter kept his tavern packed every December through 1968. Veterans returned yearly for that taste. Their children tried it once, preferred beer, wondered what the fuss was about. Every nutmeg-dusted mug carried a message. Some drinks mean more than their ingredients. Nostalgia tastes strongest in winter. Number 28. Ambrosia. Orange segments and shredded coconut layered in a crystal bowl, sometimes with marshmallows, sometimes with maraschino cherries. This southern dessert was simplicity pretending to be elegance. Peel oranges, separate into segments, remove all white pith and membranes. This takes patience and sharp paring knife. Layer orange segments in crystal bowl. Sprinkle shredded coconut over oranges. Add another layer of oranges, another layer of coconut. Some families add mini marshmallows, some add maraschino cherries, some add both. Chill thoroughly before serving. The oranges release juice. The coconut absorbs it. Everything melds together into something greater than its parts. Virginia Patterson served ambrosia every Christmas from December 1938 until December 1985. Her Savannah dining room, her grandmother's crystal bowl filled with this exact combination. 3 generations of women making the same dessert in the same bowl. Her great-granddaughter inherited both bowl and recipe. December 1938, when ambrosia meant Southern Christmas as surely as pecan pie. Recipe appeared in Charleston cookbooks from 1870s. Simple ingredients elevated through presentation, served in finest crystal, treated like precious dessert despite being just fruit and coconut. Fancy desserts required baking, multiple steps, expensive ingredients. Ambrosia required knife skills, patience, good fruit. But it looked impressive in crystal, tasted refreshing after heavy dinner, cost almost nothing to make. Virginia's ambrosia traveled through her church circle, her garden club, her daughter's junior league meetings. Every Southern woman made it. Every family had slightly different formula marshmallows or no marshmallows, cherries or no cherries, endless gentle arguments about authenticity. Every coconut-topped orange carried a message. Regional identity lives in simple recipes repeated across generations. Elegance sometimes means knowing what not to complicate. Number 29. Sand tarts. Thin, crispy butter cookies cut into shapes, brushed with egg white, sprinkled with cinnamon sugar and sliced almonds. These Pennsylvania Dutch cookies were Christmas baking before chocolate chips existed. Cream butter and sugar until fluffy. Beat in eggs, add vanilla. Stir in flour, salt until dough forms. Chill dough overnight. This is crucial. Warm dough won't roll thin. Roll dough paper thin on floured surface. Cut into shapes. Transfer to baking sheets. Brush each cookie with beaten egg white. Sprinkle with cinnamon sugar. Press sliced almond into center. Bake at 375 degrees until edges turn golden brown, about 8 minutes. Let cool completely. Bake crisp as they cool. Emma Zimmerman made sand tarts every December starting in 1925, Lancaster County. Her Pennsylvania Dutch mother's recipe, her grandmother's recipe before that, these cookies meaning Christmas in her farmhouse kitchen. She'd roll dough thin as paper, cut hundreds of cookies, her kitchen smelling like cinnamon and almonds for days. December 1925, when sand tarts defined Pennsylvania Christmas baking. Recipe brought from Germany in 1700s, surviving unchanged through centuries. Making these meant honoring ancestors who brought nothing to America but recipes written in memory. Modern cookies were thick, soft, forgiving. Sand tarts were thin, crispy, requiring skill to roll without tearing. But rolling thin meant more cookies per batch, and they stored for weeks in tins. Emma's sand tarts traveled through church cookie exchanges, school bake sales, neighbor gift plates. Her daughters learned the rolling technique. Her granddaughters learned from them, recipe passing through hands that remembered thickness by feel, not measurement. Every crispy cookie carried a message. Heritage survives in recipes that refuse to change. Thin cookies require thick tradition. Number 30. Peppermint bark made from scratch. Dark chocolate and white chocolate layered. Crushed candy canes scattered across the top. This simple candy became Christmas. Gift-giving essential before stores sold it commercially. Melt dark chocolate carefully. Spread thin on parchment-lined baking sheet. Refrigerate until completely hard. Melt white chocolate carefully. Spread over dark chocolate layer. While white chocolate is still soft, sprinkle crushed candy canes across the top. Press in gently so they stick. Refrigerate until hard. Break into irregular pieces. Store in airtight container in cool place. Susan Martinez made her first peppermint bark in December 1968, San Diego. Her neighbors receiving gift plates. Her discovering that homemade chocolate bark impressed people more than cookies. That bark cost pennies to make, looked like specialty shop candy, tasted like Christmas morning. December 1968, when homemade candy meant more than store-bought. Peppermint bark appeared in women's magazines, church cookbooks, neighbor gift exchanges. Simple enough for beginners, impressive enough for gifting, seasonal enough to feel special. Store-bought candy was predictable, ordinary, forgotten immediately. Homemade bark was variable, personal, remembered because someone made it. But tempering chocolate perfectly required practice, and humidity made everything sticky. Susan's peppermint bark became her annual gift tradition. She'd make dozens of pounds, pack it in clear cellophane bags tied with ribbon, deliver to mailmen, teachers, neighbors. Her tradition spread now. Everyone makes peppermint bark, barely remembering it was once special. Every peppermint-topped piece carried a message. Simple gifts given with care outlast expensive ones. Traditions become common because they work. 30 recipes. 30 Christmases spanning 1920s through 1960s. Tomato aspic rings that wobbled with elegance. Liver pâté shaped like Christmas trees. Lime Jello holding cottage cheese hostage. Crown roasts that cost a week's groceries. Fruitcakes soaked in rum for 6 months. These weren't just recipes. These were statements. Achievement, aspiration, regional identity. Heritage preserved in copper molds and crystal bowls. Some of these deserve to come back: cloverleaf rolls shaped with love, ambrosia in grandmother's bowl, date nut bread that improves with waiting. Some of these should stay buried: lime Jello salad, anyone? But every single one tells us something about who we were, what we valued, how we showed love through food that took days to prepare. What would your great-grandmother think of your Christmas dinner? Would she recognize anything? Or would she wonder when Christmas stopped requiring 3 days of preparation and started coming from the grocery store freezer section? Drop a comment telling me which recipe you'd actually try, or which one made you grateful for modern Christmas dinners. I'm reading every single one. And if you make it this far through 30 vintage recipes, hit that subscribe button. Because apparently, you and I both have a thing for culinary time travel. Merry Christmas. May your holidays be less labor-intensive than 1955's.